Sancho, I thought that was an still open windows are the Turkish league. I think the Greek league is as well. Do you guys see 12? Do you see Sancho going somewhere else so that they're like, hey, why don't you go? Why don't you go clear your head in the Mediterranean? Or do they try to work this behind the scenes?
I know that the Sancho thing, as I said before, we were talking about backstage. Sancho was one of those situations where, look, I was very, very high on Sancho. I thought that it would have been a great addition. I thought just on the field performances, I thought that would have been a great addition. Obviously, I think that Klopp can take players to next levels. The Dortmund links and everything else was also positive. The fact that he was a homegrown player was a positive. All these different aspects of Sancho to me was like, oh wow, I would love to have seen him, come to not only the Premier League but also become possibly a Red. But when he went to the Red Devils, that's a different story. Now all of a sudden, my opinion has somewhat, changed on the his player arc, if we want to put it that way. But I also know that his issues and problems with the things that we're hearing about aren't just synonymous with Manchester United. It also deems back to his time at Dortmund, where he's had issues with being on time or issues with practice and those all the issues that are coming out now, which is concerning. And one of the questions I posed and I'll pose this to your chat as well, but would I take Sancho today? It's a good question. It's still a very good question. Would you take Sancho if they were to terminate his contract, which is possibly a consideration? Would you take that player on a deal? And I'm kind of leaning towards possibly, and that's the scary thing about it. Even with all of the issues, knowing how Klopp is just an incredible influence on players, maybe he can get the return that we all need and would love to see out of still a young man. He's still.
That's a good question, actually, John.
Ooh, I've been thinking for the past 10 seconds.
I know I saw smoke in the background.
It's an intriguing prospect, it's an intriguing thing, but not for me because we're pretty stacked in attack for one. If we weren't, maybe. Where does he play, on the left or the right?
He plays on the left, but at Dortmund he played on the right.
He played on the right.
So he can play both wings, which is intriguing. But Klopp really has a thing with attitude. Right. I remember when he came in, he had this no assholes policy. I don't know if you guys remember what happened with Sacco. He was dead set on being one of our first choice CBs. Then he just started becoming he just started doing whatever it is he did back then. So okay, Chris is
absolutely I know.
That's what I understand from the last two messages.
Yeah. A little fused with the chat there. That
right.
Question.
So the chat has decided. Here's the thing. Let's play devil's advocate again. While he has the attitude, John, and we know sometimes I always bring since we're over here American Scouser, let's go NFL, like the Patriots, right? They would sign these people that are what's considered to be trouble child, or he's a pain, he doesn't know how to win, blah blah blah. Sometimes when you go into an environment where it's established, I think it would be a lot more resounding yes if you asked me this question last year when you had Hando and Milner as captains, and it was a bit more of a military regime having Milner there and stuff like that.
Right.
Now I'm a bit more probably. But going back to my question, when you sometimes take these people and put them in an environment where it's really, really structured and you stick out like a freaking sore thumb when you don't go by the rules, those people adjust themselves. Or the team makes them either adjust or get the hell out, because the team itself is a unit. We know for a while this was the worst place for somebody like that to go, or maybe that's why he did go there, because he knew he could play his own music in the background. So I feel so do you think, John, that, like I say, if it was last year, would you say yes? Would you say, I'm not even asking Chris. Well, I'll ask Chris, though, actually, in the comments. Would you say yes last year when we had Hando and Milner, where you feel like he comes into a structured environment and people are like, that's not how we do things over here. So you do it our way, or you're out.
Yeah. Again, it's a tough question, but it's still a no for me because last year we had quite a bit of head cases too. We had Darwizzi, we had Nunez, bro. Like, listen, he comes off as humble, but that red card that he got against Crystal Palace to start the year last year was like an indication of his temperament. Like, he is a bit of a hothead too. So I feel like we already have that kind of a loose cannon sort of deal, like sort of player in Darwin, and like we're slowly integrating him into the squad. We're seeing how good he is. So I don't think adding another piece, regardless of if we got Henderson or Milner, would have made a difference. Honestly, like it would have made some, but I'm not sure if Klopp would take that gamble, considering, I don't know, the face value. He knows that the player has sort of an attitude issue. So listen, if it happened, I wouldn't be against it. I trust Klopp to do it, but if it didn't, I'd be perfectly fine. And I'm leaning towards no. It's a no for me.
I mean, his craziness is a different kind of craziness, though. Like, Nunez's craziness is different than Jaden crazy. Like, Nunez is still a professional, just a crazy one. Maybe he should be a goalie. Chris says nope, didn't want him before he went to United. He's this era's Jordan Ibe. I don't know. That's
wow.
I don't know if that's a compliment to Ibe or that's an insult to Sancho. I don't know which way we're going.
Look at what you steered here, 12. Look at what you got the chat all riled up and everything.
I just wanted to say though. I mean, like, I'm not saying that we would spend money for him. I'm saying as a free agent.
Yes,
as a free agent. Because if they're offering to possibly buy him out of his contract, he'll get paid. So right now he's making £350,000 a week. Okay. So obviously we were talking about, I'm a big proponent of team harmony when it comes to, salary wage harmony as well to produce a good locker room. $350K for a player of Sancho, even though Sancho is a pretty decent player, I still can't see that ever happening. To say that he's going to be making Mo Salah style numbers, but let's just say with the contract termination, with him getting a renewal on life, him basically saying, "Hey, Manchester United, you've turned your back on me. You've kind of thrown me to the wolves. You kind of, you've obviously, the hatred. Now he's going to become the villain. Comes to the rival." And renews his career. I mean, it would almost be Michael Owen-esque type deal, type.
I like the scenario. Like, I'd watch the movie, but
yeah, I'd watch the movie, man. I would.
But I don't know if I go to the sequel. I mean, no, I know what you mean. I agree with Ryan. If we got him next to nothing, that would be. I think, I wouldn't sign him. But I think what you bring, and that's why I kind of bring that other scenario. Like, I know Ryan was saying, like Belichick can deal with that. I really think it's kind of like a locker room that deals with people like that as well. It's not, I mean, we always think it's the manager, but in any locker room, depends on what the rest of the team does. You can have a manager beat the guy's head in. If the rest of the team is not responding to that and saying like, "Oh man, you're fine, don't worry about him," that's a different story than the rest of the team saying, "Yeah, you should be your own freaking time," or whatever the situation is. So I would not mind the gamble, but at a very low cost, like you're saying, like, but I honestly don't think Sancho is going to be like, "Oh yeah, I'll come over there. What do you guys like, a sandwich?" Like, it's not going to happen. I honestly think right now, the only window open, like I say, is there'll be a team in like Turkey or Greece or whatever that might, I mean, who wouldn't want him? It would be kind of like they freaking signed Greenwood, for God's sakes, in Spain. So because United is gonna have to pay for another player's wages that's not playing for them. So they would cover like probably like 80%, 90% of it or something like that. And there'll be a team taking a chance at it, and then they would try to unload him in like January or something like that. It's just like, I mean, it's United. You never put it past them, but it's kind of like really odd for them to just say, "Yep, terminate." I guess that was a $80 million mistake. How much did they pay for him?
Yeah, it was close.
Somewhere around there, right?
Yeah, it was close to that.
That's freaking. I mean, I felt it was crazy money and not worth it at that time. So definitely, I mean,
at least we could laugh about it, right? At least we could laugh about it.
Yeah, exactly. Chris says, "You know what Sancho rhymes with?" No. Hell no.